All right, the Utah Jazz lose to the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are incredible. It's the Hoops Nerd postgame show. Guys, the Oklahoma City Thunder are absolutely legit. There is no reason to think that they aren't absolutely contenders for the title game. I think they're going to be active at trade deadline too to maybe get one more piece to make a big run this season. Once Chet Holmgren comes back, it'll be interesting to see how healthy he is, and if he's at a 100%, and if he's playing with Hartenstein and all these weapons this team has, man, are they compelling. They don't have to make a trade either. Their talent and their depth is amazing, and they just truly have all the pieces to win a championship. They have a lead guy in Shai-Gilgeous-Alexander, an honest to goodness MVP candidate. And why can't Shai-Gilgeous-Alexander, why can't SGA be MVP this year? He is on an elite team at the top of the Western Conference, the hardest conference. He is absolutely killing it every single night. Why can't SGA be MVP? In fact, might be a good time to go put some money down on SGA as the MVP, because that narrative is only going to grow. This team is so good. They are working through injuries and still winning. Just like the Celtics, the Thunder are doing the same thing. What a remarkable team. Just incredibly talented from start to finish. They've built it. You know, they got SGA in the trade they did with the Clippers. We all know the story. SGA turned out to be way better than I think anyone expected. He's gotten to literal MVP caliber player. And then they have just filled this team out through the draft and just picked really well in the draft. Jalen Williams has been so good for them. He was incredible tonight. 28 points on 66% shooting, 5 assists, 3 steals. He was just a beast tonight. And then, of course, SGA tonight, 11 for 19 from the field, 2 for 6 from 3, but 26 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, just doing everything. What an incredible player. Just phenomenal. Not a lot else to say other than that Hartenstein is so good for them. He is going to be an absolute beast for them. And then, yeah, when they get Chet Holmgren back, they are going to be so good. And then they've just drafted more players. Cason Wallace in his second season is looking fantastic. Isaiah Joe, I believe they got him from the G League, is just an elite three-point shooter. And then they just have more and more players. And then they have players not even playing tonight, you know. So, and then we all know what Dort can do with his defense. And so they have so many different weapons. They could go out and do something at trade deadline if they want to, or they don't have to. I tend to think it doesn't hurt to go out and get someone. I mean, their pick is going to be like, what, bottom 3 in the draft? Is there, you know, someone you can get on the trade block that's better for a first-round pick? You know, even this Utah Jazz team might have some pieces they want. Do they want like a John Collins that they could get for nothing? You know, someone from the Raptors or the Wizards, but they don't want players that aren't additive. They are going to want players that, they aren't going to make a trade just to make the trade, is what I'm saying. They're going to go out and make a player that's additive or fills a hole, maybe provides some depth. Even like a John Collins, who maybe they don't even play him during the playoffs, could be a player they could play during the regular season to help when Chet Holmgren comes back, so they don't have to rely so much on, just on Chet Holmgren while they're hoping he can get better. It looks pretty bad. That hip injury he had, I don't know all the details of it, but it looked like it's going to take some time for him to get better. Anything that has to do with a hip is going to take a little bit of time. For the Utah Jazz, this was a bad loss, but there were a few things to be happy about. You could tell in the second half when the Jazz were really down, they started working on some development things. One of those was Lauri Markkanen in the post. Didn't go perfectly, but he did make a few plays. We watched him in the post kind of pass out of it and move it to the other players on the perimeter, getting some open shots, which was nice to see. Markkanen is developing just like all the other Jazz players are. John Collins continues to be just such a weapon for Utah. Tonight, probably arguably the best player, but 15 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. He did have the 5 turnovers. This is, the Jazz had a massive turnover night. 29 turnovers really is a lot compared to just 8 for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I mean, that's really the game right there. But 5 for Collins for a non-prime ball better. And that's one way that John Collins and a lot of these players can improve, but that was not good. Walker Kessler was actually really good tonight. I know the minus 22, but 11 rebounds, 17 points, 2 blocks. He had that incredible block where he blocked it at the 3-point line and then went all the way and scored on the other end. He was awesome. In fact, let's refresh this, see if they have the play up here. We'll watch it together. This was play of the game, basically, from Walker Kessler. Let's see. Yep, right here. Or no. Here we go. No, maybe it's this one. So let's see here. Why is this? This is supposed to be a block. All right, well, this is messed up because that's not a block for Walker Kessler. What the heck? They're trying to spread anti-Keyonte George propaganda. But anyways, that's not the blocks. Maybe we'll try one more time. Someone messed up because this is not it. Doggone it, guys. It was a cool play. Anyways, Walker Kessler blocks the 3-point shot, then takes the ball all the way back and scores. So he's playing really well. There's a lot of teams out there that are asking about him in the trade market, but it doesn't mean that the Jazz are going to trade him. From reporting from Michael Scotto, it sounds like it's going to take 2 first-round picks, and they can't be just crap picks. They need to be 2 decent first-round picks, and then you can have Walker Kessler, and what we're seeing is he's a young, very nice big man that can really change your team. In a lot of ways, it's kind of like what the Clippers did with Zubats. They got Zubats from the Lakers, I believe, when he was really young, and he's been a core piece of their team for a long time. Everything they do, Zubac has been there. Zubac, I don't know. But anyways, he's been a core piece of what they've done. There might be a team out there like the Lakers who might want to trade for Kessler and have him be a core piece with their young players, especially post LeBron. So we'll see. Colin Sexton had a really nice shooting night, it looks like, at least. Him and Keyonte George and also Walker Kessler, John Collins, had some of the best impact on this one. Colin Sexton, he's just such an offensive weapon. Tonight, though, 5 turnovers for him, 4 for Key, but 5 turnovers for Sexton, 4 assists, 3 rebounds. He is finding ways to score at an efficient level. And in a game the Jazz lost by 27, he was a -8. So doing things really well. It's this Jazz bench, and holy smokes, the -30 for Johnny Juzang. Holy cow. But Colin Sexton continues to find a way to be efficient. Other teams are going to ask about him in the trade block. We'll see if he actually gets moved, but playing well for Utah. So Keyonte George. Okay, so there was a lot of writing out there last game, talking about his turnovers, talking about him. I saw a lot of stuff out there. I have people messaging, tweeting and skeeting at me, like, what's wrong with Keyonte George? Nothing. Of all the Jazz young players and rookies and whoever, he is the one you should be least worried about. We were watching him on the playback, and make sure you go to playback.tv, follow SLC Dunk. That's where I do the live post-game shows, or the live streams now. So go there. You can watch with me. It's a lot of fun. But Keyonte George tonight, 50% from the field. Yeah, the 3-point shot was not falling, although there were multiple times when we were watching where you watched Keyonte George run through multiple actions. He runs 1 action, 2 actions, 3. In fact, I want to show one shot where was it this one? He gets the ball. Okay, what I want to set up here is look how much time is on the clock here. When people are talking about Key, look who has the ball. It's Colin Sexton. There's 5 seconds left on the shot clock. This is actually such not a great move. If you're another player, if you're Key in this situation, you have legitimate beef. Like, why are you throwing me the ball? Because watch what happens. Colin Sexton, with 3 seconds left, throws the ball out to Key. Key has to set something up and goes and scores. That is such a high level of difficulty. You are being set up to fail, and despite that, he scores. That was one I liked. I think it was this one where he runs through multiple actions. No, this is just a shot. Let's see. Where are we? I think it was early. Where is this? Period 1, period 2. No. Let's see. Sorry, guys. This is live, but I want to do this because I thought this was really good. Here we go. Let's see. Keyonte jump shot. Shot distance 26. Oh, here we go. This will help. Cutting finger roll layup. Let's see here. All right. Runs the action. Drives. Sets it up. He's just making so many smart plays. That right there is such simple basketball. And he manufactures. Maybe he missed it. You know what? It might have been his. It was actually a turnover. Let's see. I'm serious because this was big time stuff, and I just want to show all that's going on, and people need to cut it out, to be honest. So he has 4 turnovers tonight. Did not lead the team in turnovers, even though he's the main point guard. Let's see. Was this it? Offensive foul. Okay, so first he gets a pick from Kessler. That's the first action. Doesn't work. So, okay, yes, this was exactly it. And by the way, this is a turnover, and this was my favorite play of the game from Key while we were watching him. So watch. Watch how many, and by the way, you've got to, when you're watching the games, watch the actions. They're going through 1, 2, 3. This was the third action that Keyonte George has to create a play. And I know he got a offensive foul, so not great. But I just want you to show what he's doing in processing and not turning the ball over, but running the offense. And this is exciting to see. He's going to be so good for the Jazz, guys. He is absolutely a part of the future for this team. Watch this. So Key gets the first thing. First action, top of the key, pick and roll. Walker Kessler sets the screen. Nothing there. All right? He has the patience to wait for the next action. What is it? Kessler rolls. It's John Collins. He comes up. Watch John Collins runs. They switch. It's a double team. Key recognizes Jalen Williams has his back to him. He has Shai-Gilgeous-Alexander on him. They don't call the foul on this, by the way. He goes left, drives, blows by Shai-Gilgeous-Alexander, gets the foul. So this is an offensive foul for Key. But what I want to actually just show there is how many things, seeing multiple things during the game. And so when you watch Keyonte George make these shots, make these plays, this is big time stuff. So let's see. I want to show you one. I think it was at the end. This is just a pull up 3. This right here is a playoff shot. How far was this? 15 feet. Okay, so this is the pull up jump shot. Watch Key just he's in isolation here, gets the screen from him, from Kessler, and just pulls it up and knocks it down. He's getting better and better and better at recognizing the floor, recognizing the actions, making the right shot, and then burying it. And that mid-range shot right there is automatic for him. The more he can get into that, the better. It's going to be really good. So yes, was this a terrible loss for the Jazz? Sure. They lost by 27. But if you're watching the game and watching the little victories, you're seeing the things where Utah is going to get better and better. Utah right now is turning the ball over at a high level, but the players that are turning it over, you have John Collins turning it over. Why is John Collins turning it over 5 times? Gotta be better. Gotta control the ball. Colin Sexton, this right here, when you see this efficiency, but he's turning it over 5 times, and he is not playing as the primary playmaker. There's a difference between playing isolation offense and playmaking offense, right? There's a big difference between John Stockton and I guess Jeff Hornacek. Where John Stockton is running the show and moving the ball, making things happen, he's going to have turnovers. By the way, John Stockton averaged like 3-something turnovers per game during his peak. Turnovers happen. We've talked about it. It is a part of the game, especially when your job is passing it to everyone and making plays. That is just inherently going to cause turnovers. So yes, did the Jazz have a lot of turnovers tonight? No, but I do think it's interesting that Keyonte George had the lead. Like, for these starters, he was not the lead turnover guy, which you would expect him to be, actually, if you're lead ball handler. He was not. Colin Sexton is. He's turning the ball over in ISO situations. His job is to score. It's not necessarily to play make for other players, where Key right now is, his job is to do everything. So this is not great. You've got to be better than that. But if these guys can cut these turnovers down, if Key can keep this at 3, 4 is too high. But if he can get it to 3, that's perfectly fine. 3 turnovers a game is perfectly fine, and that really should be the goal. Can we be at 3? So let's watch that as the season goes on. Can he keep that under 4 at 3? Now, if you can get sub 3 turnovers per game, that's like Chris Paul, John Stockton level, where John Stockton's at like 2.8 or something like that. But if you're at that sub 3 level, that's where it's elite stuff. At the very least, Key was a positive assist to turnover ratio. Let's see. Johnny Juzang minus 30. That's crazy. That is crazy stuff. That is, I don't know if it's the defense, but there's something there that's just not, and it may not be his fault, but it's typically these three players, this bench unit is just getting torched. Bryce Sensabaugh, minus 13 in this one. He is shooting the ball really well. Look at that. 5 turnovers for Sensabaugh in 19 minutes. That is where you got to be a little that is the alarming stuff. Sensabaugh at 20, not even 20 minutes, 5 turnovers. That is the problem with Sensabaugh, is he cannot handle the ball without turning it over. It's crazy. Isaiah Collier, 4 turnovers. This is just bonkers for it to be this high. 14 minutes, 4 turnovers. This is not great. And we got to give Collier a little bit of leeway. He's a rookie, just like Key is learning his role. Collier is also learning his role, and that's high, very high. He did go 1 for 2. That's pretty good. So you'll give leeway because he's a rookie. And figuring it out. But this is craziness. 9 turnovers just from those 2 off the bench. That's what's just destroying the Jazz. And then Eubanks and Mikhailiuk. Mikhailiuk had 3 as well, did he? Yeah. Mikhailiuk was turning it over too. So 1 for 2 for Mikhailiuk. Drew Eubanks is coming in. And this is by design in some ways. Utah knows that this group right here is going to lose them some games. Utah plays Portland next. So that's going to be interesting. That's an important game. Utah needs to figure out how to lose that game. Maybe let Lauri Markkanen stay home. Something like that. But it's going to be interesting seeing them go up against Portland. I believe that's in Portland, so advantage Blazers. But Utah right now is sitting pretty. Let's just look at the state of the tank. Let's refresh this. It was a very successful tanking night for Utah, actually. Utah loses, puts them at 4-17. Philadelphia won tonight. And so that gives them space with Utah. Utah is locking in a top 2, top 3. I think New Orleans is eventually going to start winning. There's got to be some sort of win there on the board. Brandon Ingram is not playing lately for them. They need him to come back, but Utah's got to keep pace. But at the very least, Utah needs to lock into this top 3. Why? Because they get the same amount of lottery balls as pick 1. So I think some would argue that, if the goal is to just get top 4 pick, then all that really matters is 3. I would like to see Utah at 2, because at the very least, if Utah gets jumped maybe once or twice by 1 or 2 other teams, at the very least you hold your position. You'd rather be 1 space above the Pelicans than below. So guys, every one of us needs to be rooting for the New Orleans Pelicans big time. They need to start winning some games. They are playing so pathetic right now. Utah, tonight was a bad loss, but Utah has not been blown out like this as many times this season as you'd expect. They've been in a lot of these games. I mean, they dang near beat the Lakers if it weren't for that late timeout. So Utah is being well coached. They're playing hard, playing with heart, but they are losing games. And a lot of it is, their bench is super young, and just, young teams, inexperienced teams turn the ball over a lot. The other thing, San Antonio right now, let's see, is that game over? San Antonio played the Suns. Let's see what happened here. I think they lost from that. Yeah, Suns lost. Dang it. Utah needed the Spurs to win that one, because look at this. San Antonio and Minnesota are in a... that's crazy. Look at that. Denver is in the lottery. San Antonio keeps Minnesota out of the play-in. If San Antonio can just stay ahead of Minnesota, Minnesota has 0 chance to make the playoffs. They're currently in the 11th spot in the playoff standings. So root for the Spurs and root for the Pelicans, guys. Those are the teams you should be watching and rooting for hard at this point, especially San Antonio. And, I think New Orleans will win, but Utah's just going to have to outpace them. New Orleans, who knows, what a disaster. They have solid rotational players across the board. They trade for DeJounte Murray. By the way, everyone who said to trade for DeJounte Murray, not a ringing endorsement, right? They traded for DeJounte Murray to win games this year. What an absolute disaster for the Pelicans. So, but I think they will win. You're going to have games where DeJounte goes off, and Utah, if they play New Orleans, has to lose that game. has to lose that game. Anyways, important stuff. So let's see. Do we got the music? Let's play the music, baby. It's now time for those lottery balls. Let's see what the Utah Jazz do tonight. Last time we rang, we went number 6. Disappointment. What happens tonight for the Utah Jazz? Let's see what happens. What happens for the Jazz tonight? Boom! All right, Brooklyn wins the number 1 pick. Detroit gets lucky number 2, but Utah gets 3. That's huge. That is a massive win for the Utah Jazz. I'm perfectly happy with that. If Utah just holds, incredible. What that means is Utah, and I saw someone putting Yegor Demin at 2. We saw all the stuff about Dylan Harper. I got to make a video about it. It's pretty funny. I'll do a video tomorrow, I think. It's pretty good stuff. But Dylan Harper stays at 3. Utah gets Dylan Harper. There's a case for Dylan Harper at 1. This draft is bonkers. Utah getting number 3. Incredible. Dylan Harper next to Keyonte George would be so much fun. Go watch Dylan Harper film, guys. We just got Dylan Harper. We got our lead playmaker of the future. You combine him with Keyonte George, with Lauri Markkanen. Oh my gosh. He looks like prime Harden. He looks incredible. Incredible. And I know a lot of people not big fans of Harden. Harden won an MVP. Imagine like good guy James Harden on the Utah Jazz. Unbelievable. He is a beast. 6'6". He, you know who he reminds me of? There's a little bit of like Darren Williams to his game, like with the size and power. And then you combine that with the craftiness of like a Jalen Brunson, someone like that in New York. What a phenomenal pickup. And yeah, some Harden in there too. What an incredible player he would be for the Utah Jazz. So Utah gets Dylan Harper in this draft. What a massive success if that would be for this season for the Utah Jazz. All right, guys, let's give a shout out to our All-Stars. Make sure you like and subscribe to the video and to the channel. And if you'd like to support the channel, you can go join. Let's give a shout out to Ryan Edward Perry, the legend, Baby Elliott Madsen, See Ya Alexa Later, Christian House Money to Haas, The Outlaw Jesse James Nelson, Jordan the Goat Besserell, Austin our Grant Editor Extraordinaire, KG10 to TH5, and Patrick Akubo, the Connoisseur. Guys, you know what? I've been just doing the playbacks, but I can simulcast. If you like those, I can put those on the channel and just run the live stream through playback and on the YouTube. If you like that, let me know. Oh, and our mini pick, look at that. Mini pick gets Will Riley. By the way, we looked at this before. I got to look at some film of him. He is shooting 50% from 3. And on 7.3 attempts per game. Are you serious? That's bonkers. That's crazy stuff. Assist 2.6, 0.4 steals. This guy just shoots the ball. I'm going to have to watch some Will Riley film. There you go, KG10. All right, let's give a shout out to... Oh, we already give these shout outs. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think. Do you want me to keep simulcasting? I don't mind doing it. I got to make a thumbnail each time, but that's fine. I don't mind spending that time doing that. So, anyways, guys, like I said, like and subscribe to the channel. I'll try to do a video tomorrow about the Dylan Harper, Ron Harper stuff. It's pretty great. I'll talk to you next time, guys.